This is CBC Vancouver News.
Now it's just a waiting game, letting everything dry, get the fans going, dehumidifiers going.
Flood evacuees return home just in time for another storm to drench the already waterlogged Fraser Valley. Plus,
it just feels like, it's not being taken seriously.
We believe we've disrupted some shootings or prevented some shootings.
another extortion-related shooting in Surrey. The same day, South Asian leaders from across the country gather for an extortion town hall. And
really unique in the animal world to see dolphins and killer whales foraging together.
Researchers capture rare video of killer whales and dolphins helping each other hunt salmon off the BC coast. Good evening, I'm Tanya Fletcher. Thanks for joining us. We begin in the Fraser Valley, which is about to get soaked again by another storm. More evacuation orders were lifted today as floodwaters gradually recede, but another 80 millimeters of rain could fall on those hardest hit areas that are still underwater. The CBC's Benit Brach begins with a closer look at the forecast and the damage already done.
Here in part of Abbotsford's Sumas Prairie, floodwaters are receding. There are still areas that are low-lying that continue to have pooling. Overall, the city says water from the U.S. is continuing to come over, but it's decreasing. Some of it's still spilling over. Overall, some of that reprieve is allowing some residents here to start their cleanup efforts. John DeYoung's family is back at their property, cleaning up areas like his office, horse barn, and basement.
We got within 2 inches of the 1990 flood as they called for it.
You can see that the water is right up to the barn.
This was a situation just days ago. He says the flooding this year is far less than the destruction 4 years ago.
We had 22 more inches of water in our place in 2021 than we did this year. We live here on this earth and we have to just deal with what's dealt with us. You know, we realized that this was a lake at one point.
I just can't believe this happened a second time.
Closer to the Canada-U.S. border, neighbors helping neighbors in the Penticton area, which was among the first hit by breaching waters.
There's about 4 or 5 neighbors full of stuff here, so now it's just a waiting game, letting everything dry, get the fans going, dehumidifiers going.
But amid efforts to stay dry, officials warn another storm is expected to roll in. The heaviest downpours predicted for Monday.
That means increased flood and landslide risk. We aren't through this yet.
The ground is very saturated, so we are making sure that people are as prepared as possible. But I know that there is an escalating amount of anxiety right now.
Forecasters don't expect the event to be as intense as last week. People here staying alert and ready to respond with what the skies bring next. Benit Brach, CBC News, Abbotsford.
And let's take a look at this next system that is about to slam the south coast. We are going to see up to 80 millimeters of rain tonight through tomorrow along the south coast. This stronger frontal system will arrive tonight, bringing significant rain. The heaviest rainfall amounts are expected on Monday. It'll be blustery as well, strong and gustily southerly winds in the morning. The rain is expected to ease by evening as the system moves off. Localized flooding is likely, though. Some roads may become impassable and landslides are possible as well. So be warned, don't drive through flooded roadways. That's the warning from Drive BC. And we'll take you through the rest of the province-wide forecast at the end of the show. We have breaking news from Surrey now, where police say a pedestrian has died following a collision with a police vehicle this evening. This was the scene shortly after 7 p.m. The Surrey Police Service, as one of its own SPS vehicles, was involved in a collision with a woman who was walking at the intersection of 152nd Street and 64th Avenue. First responders tried to save her, but she didn't make it. The Independent Investigations Office has now been called in. Drivers are being warned that this area will be closed to traffic for several hours for the investigation. Well, Sikh organizations from across the country gathered in Surrey today for an extortion town hall. The crisis has gripped South Asian communities, with well over 100 homes and businesses south of the Fraser targeted to date. As Janella Hamilton reports, today's forum took place just hours after another shooting.
We're seeing an increasing trust deficit between the community and between government representatives. Dozens of people packed into this room Sunday, pushing politicians and police to do more to tackle the growing threat of extortion and violence in BC's Lower Mainland.
How is your party prioritizing this issue?
Through a moderator, community members were able to ask questions and voice their concerns. Many here say they fear their safety isn't a priority amid recent talks between Canadian and Indian officials.
There has been more action recently we've seen on extortions and public task forces, but in terms of the messaging from the government and the renewed ties with India, it just feels like it's not being taken seriously.
The relationship right now, having investigative dialogue between the two nations right now is better.
The town hall being held just hours after another Surrey business was targeted in what police believe is an extortion-related shooting. Police say 2 employees were inside the restaurant when it happened, but no one was injured. More than 100 extortion cases have been reported so far this year, and Surrey's police chief insists officers are making some progress.
In October, we had 11 shootings. In November, we had 2. So far in December, we've had 2. And we are out there every night, and we are protecting some of the residents that had multiple shootings. We believe we've disrupted some shootings or prevented some shootings.
Some on the panel pointing to changes needed in national immigration laws after the Canada Border Services Agency says 15 foreign nationals facing extortion charges have applied for refugee status.
It looks to me, at least, that there are people misusing the immigration system to escape judicial or legal accountability, and so we're going to have to look at ways we can stop that.
The CBSA says about 100 foreign nationals are being investigated for alleged extortion, and those found to be inadmissible to Canada on serious criminal grounds would be issued a removal order and have their refugee claim scrapped. Janella Hamilton, CBC News, Surrey.
Into politics, One BC says it has removed Dallas Brody as party leader. It all started last night when the only other MLA in the party, that's House Leader Tara Armstrong, said in a statement she'd lost all confidence in Brody's leadership. When asked about it today, Brody told CBC News word of her removal came as a big surprise.
We're still looking into the legalities of it, but I consider myself to be the leader. This has happened really quickly, and I need to make sure there are a lot of people still relying on me, and I'm getting inundated with letters saying what's going on and what's going on.
Brody says she'd brought forward concerns about the conduct of a party staffer. One BC received official party status after splitting from the BC Conservatives in June. Meanwhile, One BC's website no longer includes any mention of Brody. Recreational properties in Whistler could soon see a mill rate increase. As our Alana Kelly explains, the local government is recommending a significant shift in the budget that would generate more than $3 million in tax revenue.
Filled with iconic double blacks, this BC ski resort could soon be facing a doubling of its mill rate.
Message is that we want to grow tourism to British Columbia, and we feel like it's incredibly important to find ways that tourism funds that growth.
The mill rate is how municipalities calculate property taxes, and Whistler is proposing upping that for tourism operators so they shoulder more of the tax burden.
3 million people a year and billions of dollars in economic activity for the province of British Columbia. This change asks the major tourism operators in this community to move from funding 3% of that cost to 5% of that cost.
The change would apply to 12 recreation properties like golf courses and ski resorts and would generate more than $3 million in tax revenue.
So what this does is really find ways to ensure that tourism pays for tourism.
Vail Resorts, which owns Whistler Blackcomb, declined to comment. Fairmont Chateau Whistler says it may impact the golf course, but adds it is somewhat minimal in comparison to its overall operation, and it's not expecting to have to raise any prices.
Well, tourism is very, very valuable and very, very important to British Columbia.
One BC tourism professor believes Whistler might be the first to do this, but won't be the last.
The mayor has always had a good reputation for trying to be proactive. Whistler is a pretty unique destination or place within British Columbia and in North America. And in some ways, they're at the vanguard of what you might say are the future needs in tourism.
Juggling tourism and stakeholders is a balancing act, he says.
How do we get that balance right between making sure we cover the hidden costs that we don't see of tourism, while at the same time making tourism as accessible as possible to as many British Columbians and visitors as possible?
A housing economist says it's common to have property tax fall more heavily on businesses than homeowners.
The concern, of course, is that you chase away business when you tax them, and this is a very narrow tax increase. It's on recreation in a mostly recreational community. So the key question is this likely to chase away new recreational businesses?
On December 16th, a council will vote on the mill rate increase. Alana Kelly, CBC News, Whistler.
Well, the Vancouver Canucks embarked on a new era without superstar defenseman Quinn Hughes. Their first game without him today. And while many fans still reeling at the loss of their captain, one of the newcomers he was traded for wound up in the highlight reels.
Bouillon with room. Zeev Bouillon centers, and that went off a devil and in. Zeev Bouillon has his first goal as a Canuck.
There it is. 20-year-old defenseman Zeev Bouillon scored what ended up being the game winner in a 2-1 victory over the New Jersey Devils. It was Bouillon's first game in a Canucks jersey alongside forwards Marco Rossi and Liam Ogren from the Minnesota Wild. Bouillon also netted an assist on the first goal of the game from forward Jake DeBrusk. Bouillon is the third defenseman in Canucks franchise history to record multiple points in his team debut. Researchers have captured rare video of killer whales and dolphins helping each other hunt salmon off the BC coast. As our Yasmin Renea explains, the video offers a glimpse into how marine mammals are adapting to finding food.
It's being called an extraordinary discovery. Northern resident killer whales and Pacific white-sided dolphins working together to find salmon.
It's really unique in the animal world to see dolphins and killer whales foraging together.
Scientist and drone pilot Keith Holmes made the discovery off Vancouver Island by accident while conducting another study. Researchers then temporarily attached tags to some whales to watch and listen to their interactions with dolphins.
We could hear their calls and echolocating. But on top of that, we were hearing the dolphins echolocating. And as we started to compare things, we were noticing that the killer whale was going quiet.
Turns out the orcas were listening to the dolphins, who were diving deep into the ocean to search for large Chinook salmon, prey that dolphins can't catch on their own and that are too big for them to eat whole. The orcas then make the kill, sharing the food with their pods, and the dolphins get the scraps.
So it works out for both parties. Everyone's happy at the end of a successful fishing trip.
And it's no fluke. Researchers saw dolphins swim near whales more than 250 times in one summer. Marine experts outside of the study say orcas have had to adapt to changing ecosystems.
It's not surprising that they would learn that in order to survive, especially in this day and age when food may not be as accessible as it once was, that they really do need to work together.
That teamwork could be critical in helping marine mammals deal with noise from ship traffic.
Potentially, it could be advantageous to have cooperative foraging with other animals.
Researchers also wonder if it could offer southern resident killer whales considered endangered in Canada, partly because of a lack of food, a lifeline. Yasmin Renea, CBC News, Vancouver.
And to the Okanagan, a group of high school students in Penticton are working to make sure no kid in their community goes without a gift this holiday season. As our Tiffany Goodwin tells us, they are looking to provide more than 1,000 toys to children in need.
'Tis the season for the big man in red. This year, Christmas in Penticton will be a lot brighter for kids in need, thanks to a group of teenagers at the local high school.
It's pretty special for me to be able to know that I'm having a direct impact on those who really need it. And I've seen firsthand those students who don't receive gifts during the holiday season and how much it really affects them.
It's all part of Toys for Tots for Teens, and it's run by leadership students at Penticton Secondary.
You can just park in the parking lot, kind of pull up and drop off if you don't have time to stay.
And it's not just toys that get dropped off either, but gift cards for food and gas.
We have students who don't live with their parents, so they're by themselves at home, and they really need the gift cards so they can have a Christmas by themselves, unfortunately. But if we can help, that's what we do.
The donations get sorted and then distributed to several nonprofits, including the South Okanagan Women in Need Society, which operates a transition house for women and children fleeing domestic violence.
This is a time where kids can actually be kids. You know, they're coming into the house where they have, you know, very little of their own belongings. They're worrying, wondering, is Santa going to remember them?
A little Christmas magic, all fueled by the spirit of giving. Tiffany Goodwin, CBC News, Penticton.
Still ahead, we'll have the latest from Sydney, Australia, where the death toll is at 15 following what police say was a targeted anti-Semitic attack at a Hanukkah party on Bondi Beach. That's next. Welcome back. Let's take you to California for developing news now. Legendary director and actor Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle Singer have reportedly been found dead inside their LA home. The fire department was initially called for a medical emergency at the house. Media reports say a family spokesperson is confirming their deaths. Reiner, 78, is known for Hollywood classics like This Is Spinal Tap, A Few Good Men, and Stand By Me. He met Singer on the set of When Harry Met Sally. The couple have 3 children together. And to Australia, 15 victims are now dead in that mass shooting at a Hanukkah celebration on Sydney's Bondi Beach. Investigators now say the two gunmen were father and son. The CBC's Jennifer Yoon with the latest.
Getting ready to light the menorah on the world-famous Bondi Beach. The start of Hanukkah and the start of summer in Sydney, Australia was supposed to be a celebration, but it turned into a nightmare.
I just saw an older lady get shot and she was on the floor. Saw an older guy get shot, very badly injured on the left-hand side, and I just saw a bunch of people screaming, run towards me.
Everyone was just running and there were bullets and there were so many of them and we were really scared. We didn't know where they were coming from.
Authorities say at least 15 people are dead, including a child. 38 are in hospital with injuries, including 2 police officers. The Australian government calling the attack an act of terrorism.
This was an attack deliberately targeted at the Jewish community on the first day of Hanukkah, which of course should be a joyous celebration, and the Jewish community are hurting today.
A Jewish event where terrorists and murderers, went to kill Jewish people celebrating Hanukkah. It's just unbelievable that in Australia this is allowed to happen.
I feel horrible. I have no husband. I don't know where is his body. Nobody can give me any answer.
Amidst the horror, an act of bravery captured on camera. This man, identified as a local vendor by Australian media, appearing to tackle and disarm one of the gunmen.
Putting his own life at risk to save the lives of countless other people. That man is a genuine hero, and I've got no doubt that there are many, many people alive tonight as a result of his bravery.
Police say the alleged shooters are father and son. The 50-year-old father, a licensed gun owner, shot and killed by officers. The 24-year-old son is in custody in critical condition. 6 firearms were seized and 2 improvised explosive devices were found at the scene. And police were spotted raiding a house in a Sydney suburb that is believed to be the home of the alleged shooters.
We want to get to the bottom of this. We want to understand the motives behind it, and we certainly want to understand the actions that have happened.
Police say they had no signs this attack was coming, and the investigation continues. Jewish organizations have identified one of those killed as a Holocaust survivor, another as a rabbi who helped organize the event. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
We're looking at a live shot north from downtown Vancouver towards Burrard Inlet. Round 2 of the rain is moving in as we speak. We'll take a closer look at the warnings and alerts with the full forecast next. Let's take a look at the province-wide forecast. A lot going on from north to south. You can see this next system about to hit BC from the north coast to the south coast. Of course, that'll hit as rain. We have rainfall warnings up through the central coast and the southern coast as well. But through the northern BC, we have snowfall warnings, extreme cold temperatures as well. So this precipitation is packing a lot of moisture, this next system, and it's going to come down in most places as either strong rainfall or snow, depending on those freezing levels. So up to 80 millimeters of rain for the already soaked Fraser Valley. They're warning more localized flooding is possible. And let's take a look at our highs for tomorrow. You can see still chillier temperatures up north. In southern BC, at least, temperature-wise, it's still quite warm, 14 degrees for the high around the south coast. So we're not very cold. That's the saving grace, at least in many areas that already have a snowpack where this rain is causing more water to run off. And taking a look at the 5-day forecast for Metro Vancouver, more rain on the way. Again, the biggest of that onslaught, the biggest chunk will come on Monday. Lots of rain warning in effect. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it should start to taper off as we start to cool down as well. Vancouver's H.R. McMillan Space Centre is hosting a presentation about indigenous astronomy titled Salish Skies. It explores ancient indigenous star stories and science that have been almost lost to time. Check it out.
Today's event is all about our collaborator, Dr. Shandine Pete, who is a researcher out at UBC, and he's going to be giving an amazing talk based on his research about some constellation stories and some of the stories that he has found through his research.
I'm going to be presenting about some stories that are connected to certain star patterns in the sky that are exclusively from the Salish-speaking people. Over the last, I suppose, 300 years or so, a lot of the oral traditions had been lost or shortened or edited or censored in a certain way, and also how they connected to the patterns of stars in the skies have been somewhat disconnected. And so the work I've been doing is trying to reconnect those and also to get the stories into a pattern in which they were told as best as we know by our ancestors. The ones I'll be talking about today are Orion. So part of the Orion constellation contains one of our Salish constellations, which is called the Canoe. And then some of the other ones, some of the stars are the star clusters, like Pleiades is attributed to a Salish story about some kids that were left behind or abandoned. It helps us to reconnect to the past, but also helps us to maintain our own virtues and morals into the present and future.
It's important for us as a people, as a culture, right? So classically, when you hear about a lot of constellation stories, they come from Greek or Roman, and a lot of those cultures aren't really as relevant to this neighborhood, right? So we're right here on unceded territory, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh. There's a Squamish development going up right next door. And so what we want to do here at the Space Center is we want to tell some more local stories that are a little bit more relevant to the people that live here.
And that is your late news for this Sunday, December 14th. For news anytime, anywhere, be sure to download the free CBC News app. And you can always find us online. We're at cbc.ca/BC. Thank you so much for watching this weekend. Good night.